Good morning, I have good news. It's Friday. Thank goddess it's Friday. And it's the first day of I Love Me Some Leo. Today is step 0 of Leo. And Sensei says the universe is wasting no time. God is giving us a finger this weekend. There's a yod up in the stars. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your Friday Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, the most self-loving way to start your day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. I work in the modality of psychic astrology, and I live in my heart and help other people walk in the light. Namaste, my friend, and I've got some good news. It's Friday. It's finally Friday, and it's not only Friday, but it is also the first day of I Love Me Some Leo. This is the time of year where you need to love yourself, and you're encouraged to. And universe is not wasting any time. Today, God is giving us the finger. I'm going to talk about in your megascope how to take advantage of that point and that yod. But first, let's take a look at your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Friday, July 22nd, 2016. Well, looking at the 3-day mood forecast, today is the first day of Leo. Hooray! Tomorrow on Saturday, it's going to be sunny and super joyful. And on Sundays, a first chance of temper tantrums. It'll be overcast with a chance of showers. But Sensei says today is sunny and joyful. That's because we're in the season of love known as Leo. Now, the Great Human Walk has actually reached step 0, Leo. That means our ruling channel is step 0, I protect. And that means the ruling planet today is Pluto. Now, looking at our emotional focus, it will be quiet and also self-compassionate. The moon has transited into Act 1 of Pisces. And our mental focus today is looking for the easy breezy. Mercury's at step 16, Leo. So, my friend, we're entering into the Leo season, and in today's Megascope, I'm going to give you some tips on how to keep that heart open and feeling good. But first, grab yourself some tea, and let's have our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is a fun one. It is, I fought the Crusades, and I lost. And this is a true story, kind of a culmination of a lot of things that have come up in my life. But it harbors around a particular past life that I've had a lot of memories and awakenings and interjections from spirit about that goes back to the Crusades, actually. I bring it up also because a lot of my clients also seem to have been in the Crusades and have been fighting in the name of Christ. Some are on the church side, some are on the warrior side. There's many signs in astrology or in the planets that I see, like Chiron and Aries, a lot of Chiron and Pisces, people who are in the church, a lot of lunar eclipses in Capricorn, where power is still a painful thing for people. So there's lots of signs, but ultimately I have to be in a reading to get the vision, and time again. Now, for myself, there was a lot of stuff like that. Honestly, I didn't really get into knights in shining armor and that sort of thing. Like, it's almost like I pushed that away. And I remember also as a kid going to Catholic church with my grandparents, it just felt such dread, so much dread in that church. And it wasn't grandma and grandpa, and it wasn't the people. It just felt just dreadful. And I thought maybe it was just that I hated church. And it's like, I'm very spiritual, but I was just, something horrible about it. So I now know that had to do with the church and my spiritual opinion of the church and being in it again, which pretty much is they're doing the same ceremonies they were doing back then. I think I was just like, I can't stand this. Get me out of here. No judgment to any Catholics. And I still call myself a Catholic in many ways. I think I believe in all religions and religions. But interestingly enough, I felt important growing up as a kid. I felt like I had a duty and a mission, that there was something very important I had to do. And I now know that as we grow up, most of our thoughts and memories and our experiences growing up are recreations of our past lives so that we can kind of build up our character again to where we left off. So we have a lot of recreations, almost like in a reality film or something, or in a reality TV series. So, I had a lot of just interesting flashes and stuff of feeling important and feeling like something had gone wrong and feeling that I'd been wounded here and stabbed there and just like really weird stuff until finally I had gotten in front of that angel reader I told you about so many times, and we'd had a series of sessions. This wasn't one reading when I bring this person up, by the way. We worked together for a long time to unlock my past lives, and it was very kind of her to do it. But in one, she told me that I was a king. Now, as soon as she told me that, I got so angry. Okay, like I got so angry. I cannot tell you the rage that came up when I was told I was king. And at first, I interpreted it as some sort of issue with power this life, because I try to stay so humble and try to be good to mankind and everything. But she went on to tell me that I had been king, that I had been back in the Holy Wars, that I had been very invested in preserving the morality of humankind. And as she says all this and telling me the stories, like this rage and this anger and like it just starts to melt. So it was like getting some sort of seed of truth that started to spread like a poison of truth through my body, and like my whole just this flush of anger came down. And she goes on to tell me about like that many of the characters today, particularly ones I was having a hard time with, some people that I was having a hard time with in my own personal life, were there in that life. And she started to outline about how it was basically a Game of Thrones. And then I was like, oh, that's amazing because I love me some Game of Thrones. Like, no wonder I'm so enthralled. And maybe many of you were enthralled by that series because you too. So she tells me all this stuff. And frankly, it was helpful to me because it helped me to understand a lot. Because when you hear something like that, just you have to know it resonates, that it's true. It doesn't matter if you're famous or not famous or whatever. It's like, does that really resonate as true? Does it feel true? And if it does, it explains a lot of your craziness as a kid. No wonder I felt I was important. No wonder I felt like I had a duty to the people. No wonder all these things, and it actually helped me heal a lot. And it helped me to relax about my career because I was like, I've been king, so chill the F out with Techie. Just like, you've already been king, so don't even try, like, it was just, that was my way of staying humble. And it made me feel good. I'm like, I'm so glad I failed. I'm so glad I went forward and failed because now I feel strong that I won't again. So I came to some real healing about it. Now, just as a little, like, a touche to the story, all of this I heard, and you're like, who knows if it's true, right? She had said that lots of people in my current life were tied to it. Well, fast forward to like a year and a half later where I'm at a spiritual convention, and one of my associates and friends that I work with in the industry, who is also an astrologer, walks up to me at the table. And he says to me, hey, dude, I had a past life regression in January, and you will never guess what they said. And I was like, what, man? I was just like expecting to hear that, he was a dragon or something. You know what I mean? Like something cool. And he's like, dude, he said that we were in this past life and that you were king and na-na-na, na-na-na. And I was just like, oh my God, like, oh my God, like it was such at first I thought like he'd broken into my computer, but then I realized I haven't written this down. I haven't told anybody. These were private things with the angel thing, and it was such crazy affirmation. And if that wasn't enough, I met another viewer at the show who's probably watching right now, and another person, two other people who walked up and they're like, yeah, I love watching you. I just got to tell you, man, I hope this doesn't sound crazy, but I have weird flashes of sitting at a table with you and I was a knight. And I'm like, and I had those at that same session, that same expo. So in the expo, basically, Spirit affirmed 3 times of this past life. And I just will say, we're going to go on to talk about the other, but I fought the Crusades and I lost. Okay? And we'll talk about what that means, especially now, all these holy wars going on now. Were some of us involved in it is the question, right? All right, I'm going to take a sip of my tea and go in and give you your megascope. 3 breaths. Okay, well, today and through the weekend, what Spirit has to say for you has to do with transition into the heart. First, today, self-forgiveness, self-compassion, do not judge thyself whatsoever about your past or even your present. If you really want to give your heart a chance to bloom, it cannot grow under a mean babysitter that's always criticizing. So today there will be a temptation to criticize, a temptation to feel sorry. And what this is a complexity of emotions now coming off of their month of cleansing and really coming through a transition for a new change, and us entering into beginning degrees of Leo, which is us and our energies and what we harbor in our heart or we might have in the way of our heart. So expect some minor turbulence in the next two days. In fact, on Sunday, you might slip. That might be the final straw for something, and it's real possible that there are showers for you Sunday, Monday, but I'll be back on Monday to talk about it, but in particular. So what do you do? Well, I have some steps to help you manage your heart for the weekend. First of all, step 1, find a sacred moment for just you and you. Your heart knows when it is being shared with someone else. Your heart doesn't like it when it's being shared with someone else. The whole point is your heart needs time with you. So find a sacred moment with just you and you. Step 2, put your left hand on your heart. This is important because your left hand is your spirit hand. And when you put your left hand on your heart, you start circulating energy through this circular energy through your heart and up through your elbow and through your heart, through your elbow and through your heart. And it creates this flow. And the more you love yourself, the more you can charge your heart. Step 3, once your hand is on your heart, ask specific questions about what's really wrong. Okay? So if you have some of that turbulence, it's like, well, what's wrong? What am I really upset about? Why? Do I really want that? Do I love her? Well, then, is it okay? And So ask yourself questions, because we're going to be working through the first tender energies here in the first few days of Leo. All right, that said, for those who are watched over my personal Sensei service, which I recommend you try for $1.99, today in our Daily Zen, we're going to talk about how to interview your heart. So I have some tips beyond that little explanation I did to really get into the depth of how to talk to the inner prince or princess. And for your eye candy, I'm going to ask, how many licks does it take to get to the center of your Tootsie Roll Pop? In other words, how guarded is your heart? I'm going to give you a kind of a step number to understand that. And for my friends who are watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at @CWateki. And you can be the bright star that you really are if you come on down to SeriousJoy.tv. I aim to be the brightest star in the internet. Come join us and add to our luminance. I am so grateful to be of soul service, my friends. Please remember this weekend that I do love you, and live, love, be. Why can't you find love? How long have you really been single? Really? Having trouble finding that special soulmate? I can solve this one. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Your love trouble? Over. All that and more at secretsofbirthdays.com.